Welcome back to the shop. Today is going to be a different video because we are doing a studio tour. This video is sponsored by you guys, the viewer, with your generous donations. I know who you are. Next beer is on you. Before we go into the complete studio, let's look outside what I am working with. And this right here, this is going to be my shop, the double doors, and this is going to be the outdoor kitchen you have seen in one of my videos. Like you can hear, there is a bunch of noise today. I'm so sorry for that. The state is doing some gardening, but yeah, this is going to be the shop. It is about 40 square meters. This is going to be the outside squareage. So we have about this thick of walls on all sides. So the inside shop is going to be a lot smaller. So like you can see, this is going to be the door we enter. This is going to be the keypad to open the door. I disabled it so we can now just open the door and look what's inside. We also have a little second door right over here, and this is going to be for the sauna. The wife wanted the sauna, the wife has a sauna. I have the biggest playroom. This is going to be the smaller playroom for her. All right, there is too much noise. Let's get inside and go full nerd on the workshop. So when I open the door, here I am. This is going to be the beginning of the shop. Right over here on the left is going to be the sauna. We also have some racking, but in general, this is going to be the side I enter the shop and the only side. You have noticed there are no windows in the shop, and this was because I wanted to do resin printing. Windows are not good. Also, windows give a lot of heat in the summertime. This is nicely insulated, and yeah. Let's look around. So the biggest constraint is going to be space. This is not a small shop, but it is also not that very big, especially for all the things that I wanted to do. This right here is my dog. We call him Sam, and he has some nice little treats, which he is waiting for. Who's a good boy? Yes, you are. You don't understand English. So, right here on my right is going to be my garbage bin. So we have two bags in there. There is one bag for general filth, and then we have another one which is something that is going to be common in the Belgian region, the blue sack, and this sack is going to be for all your plastic waste. So right here on my left I have some stuff for the garden. We also have our travel thingy right over here to put on the car. We have some wood, we have some general junk on there. Then right here on top is going to be the filament storage system that I made, so we can see all the boxes that are stored right now. It is nice and high, it is not in the way, and we had a little fail, which is going to be the bracings of these little parts right over here. Those were starting to give away, so the PLA that I used was not good enough. We have replaced them with PETG with some carbon in it, and it is now nice and solid. We are storing over 30 boxes right here on this wall. Like you can see, we have a double door. This door can also open wide, so we can generally push out anything we have made in the shop, even the table, which I'm going to show you in a few. This is going to be the last addition to the shop, which is my floor cleaning thingy that we had at home. We have replaced it with someone that has the ability to mop the floor. This is just vacuum. I love it. My floors are now permanently clean. Here is our little boy, Sam. He is so scared all the time. He has some mental issues. So yeah, he's a good boy, but he is very scared. Then right over here we have some buttons. This is going to be for the lights. Right there you can see when I push the button, the lights will go out. This is going to be the lights for the set. Also the dryers and everything on top is also powered by the same button. So if I turn off the set light, the printers on top will go out, but the printers right over there will stay on. Then we have this emergency button. This is to power off the farm in the corner and the set, and also the lights. So if anything goes wrong, I go in. It has a delay of about 5 seconds, and then it pops off everything. Then we turn everything on. We have some other buttons. This button is for some lighting. Right in here in the roof, there is a roof light to give some ambient at night. So yeah, that is this button. And then we have some spare buttons. Not sure what I'm going to do with that. Then this right over here is the first junk corner. That is one of the extra panels. And with panels, I mean those things right over there. So I got an extra panel. We have some barbecue stuff, obviously. We have a ruler, and then we have all the paint cans I never use. We also have a webcam right over there. This is going to be connected to the house so the wife can see what I do, and the wife can also talk to me. Of course, it's always pretty handy if I'm doing some work that I can look in my shop when I'm not home. So this is pretty much super useless space right now. We have some long-term storage. We have some stuff we have built the shop with some spare tiles and all of that. So basically stuff that will never move from the shelf. This is also long-term memory stuff from the wife and myself, from people that have passed away. We have some garden stuff, and then we have some, yeah, it's all crap that will never leave this shop. Then right over there, we have some general stuff to do some building also. These boxes will never get opened, unfortunately, because I don't need it. Everything that we have done is built and is going to be used with the tools behind the cameras. We have some camping stuff. Then right over here, I don't even know what it is. We have some filament that is just growing wild. We have an old project I abandoned. And then we have some, yeah, just stuff. So we have established this is going to be a junk corner. For all 5 of you that are watching this video, I have some pretty good news, because we are going to do a remodeling of this corner. Because I have a plan. I want to stop working for a boss. We have to do something about it. YouTube isn't going to pay me enough to get away from my day job. So what I'm going to do is clean out this complete corner. These 2 shelvings are going to get slammed against the wall. This is already against the wall. This one ain't. And this shelving needs to go away, unfortunately. Now I have a plan for this. I'm not going to film it. We are going to do some construction work outside to get all of this stuff outside, nicely sheltered from the weather. So this shelf is going to go away. Then this is all going to get cleared up. And then we have room for, drum roll, a print farm. Yes, I think it was time. The writing was on the wall. We are doing only 3D printing right now in the shop, and I think a good way to earn some good money is going to be by going into a print farm. So this shelf to the back, this shelf is going to stand there. We are going to probably remove 1 or 2 of these members, and then we have 2 rows of printers that can go on there. The same is going to be true for this side. We are also going to remove some stuff. We are going to fill it with printers, and then obviously we have this nice boy right over here, which is going to be my red rig. This has been, yeah, a little unfortunate or fortunate accident. It doesn't fit my corner right there in the back. It should have been there in the corner. Well, we had to build something for it because it didn't fit. Now, I'm going to move this around because we want to look at the back. So the red rig right now is on one of those smart plugs. I can turn it off just by pushing a button. So here he is, my glory project, the red rig. Super happy so far. The printer is down, unfortunately. We lost the fan in the tool head, so we don't have active cooling anymore, and we didn't have it for the past few months. Oof! That's why the PLA prints on the VFA comparison video, this printer did awful because we didn't have part cooling. Well, it took me about 6 months to figure that out. Now, the cool stuff about this whole thing, when this rack is going to get pushed to the back, then this closet right over here is going to slot nicely between this box right over here and the wall. So we have a nice space for the red rig, which is also a big bonus. So right now I'm going to push it back because we are going to look at what I did with the electricity. Right here in this corner, we have some scrap wood sitting around. We have a little bit of this stuff, which is going to be the topping I used for the table that I'm going to show later. We have 2 control boxes right over here. This is going to be to control the lights. So right now it is out. We can turn it on, but there is also a little dimmer function if I do it correctly. Now we have a very dark ambience, which is generally what I do when I just walk around and do some crap, because on camera it's pretty dark, but for me it is just right. So let's turn on the light again and let's take a close look at this big boy. Oh yeah, before I do that, we have some compressed air. This is going to be a retractable hose that we are going to use with this compressor sitting right over here. This is a 100-liter compressor with a double pump, more than enough for all the painting I ever do. We have some paint guns. This is going to be my paint gun for everything I do when I am applying some primer. So it has the pressure gauge and all going on. We obviously also have a smaller one. Right now on the hose is the thing I use the most, which is going to be the blow thingy, just with compressed air. We have a regulator, an oil and water separator, and then we have something to keep myself from dying. Tire pressure. So right over here we have a big motor. This motor is going to be for my little paint booth I have, and for extracting the air around my print corner just to get some ventilation going on. Unfortunately, on full power, the door will blow open if I don't lock it down. These are going to be the two dimmers for the light, and this is going to be the button for the shop ventilation. You should hear it in a few, and the door will blow open on number 3. And the door is open. You can see it. The dog is running away. Yeah, the door is open. So on number 3, this is going to be a little bit too much for the magnetic door latch when it's not locked. Wall outlet right over there for the compressed air. We also have a second one for the rhetoric, dimmers, ventilation, and right over here is going to be the master box, which is going to house everything we need to do to run the shop. It is an actual big mother effer. It is as big as the one in my home because we are doing a lot of fancy stuff. Right over here we have all our breakers. This is the one going from my house to the shop, so this is the main breaker. We have one for the sauna. We had a jacuzzi, that one is gone. This is now become the outside kitchen. And then we have our relays. So relay 1, relay 2, and so on. These are going to be the relays. Then we have a relay for the 24 volts, which is going to be for this big boy, because this big boy is going to be powering this, which is going to be a Siemens logo. We also have an outside socket, which has a separate breaker. And then this one is going to be this boy, which has the retractable power cord. And it is also going to be for our ventilation right here on top. So a bunch of breakers. Here are going to be the relays. These relays are going to be for the complete shop. So like I told you, we have a touch panel with some buttons. We have our lights, which is going to be a relay. I have another relay, which is going to be for the ambient. Then we have a relay, especially for the print shop. These wallets on the side are a separate relay. Those wallets on the side are a separate relay. So we can mix and match a bit of what we are going to do with buttons, but mainly I used relays because I wanted to use my emergency button, which means that if I'm going to press that button, everything that is going to be powered from here on is going to get turned off in event if there is something catching fire. There was in the beginning also a smoke detector in one of my first builds. That build was going to sit right over here. The big ass closet with the Sidewinder X1 was sitting right over here. That one had a smoke alert thingy going on that had a coupling to the Siemens logo, that if there was some smoke detected, everything would be turned off. Right now, that is not working anymore. Obviously, I didn't replace it. What I am going to do is buy those tubes to get under my shelving to act as an active fire, or passive, it's probably passive because it's not power, a passive fire suppressant for in the case that if something goes wrong with an electric short, that we are covered, because the whole thing is made out of wood. We have actually built this complete shop ourselves, so everything you see from the walls to the roofing, the lights, the electricity has been all built by this boy right over here, together with a good friend of mine who is a general contractor. He did all the construction work together with me to help me out on how to build it properly, because I really wanted to do it well. Then we got on the electricity part. I did it all myself because that is also what I do in my private life. When I work for the boss, I'm an electromechanical technician, so we have to do a lot of general maintenance stuff, which is going to involve 400 volts, low voltage, whatever the hell is going on, and also the mechanical part of it. So yeah, that was not a biggie. I have done all the electricity. So I am super happy that this was even possible with my own bare hands, because 20 years back I would not have imagined to be building something like this with my own hands. So right over here we have some little blocks. These are going to be the internet connections. There's internet hardwired in the shop. Right over here there is going to be a little switch. This switch is going to be connected to my Wi-Fi spot. So this right over here, this little round thing is going to be a Wi-Fi mesh, which means that if I walk in my shop or in my house, this is going to seamlessly switch me from the house to the shop. It is all powered by the same system. So like I said, we have a switch right over here for all the hardwiring, and then switching to this to get my Wi-Fi up and running. To be fair, I am not using any of the hardwired internet ports. We are using Wi-Fi on everything, because all printers these days are supporting Wi-Fi in some way or another. So there's nothing really special going on. The only A really cool thing, I think, are going to be the relays that are powered with that touch button panel right on the side. We obviously have all the stuff like this thing, everything on a separate relay, which I really liked. We have our hotspot, the mesh Wi-Fi going on. We have a logo which is perfectly capable of being configured. Otherwise, I also did the programming myself, and we also added a little module to get the outside lights powered on, because right now with the logo that is in there, we have internet connected to it, so from my home I can do some coding on the logo. The only downside is going to be it has no Google Home integration, which is going to be the thing we are going to use at home to power our lights. So I added a little Wi-Fi module. The Wi-Fi module is right in there. I connected to the logo ports as an input, and when we say the command, it is going to give a pulse and it's going to turn on the LED lights that are going to be under the roof. So this is going to be a little bypass for the logo if you want Google smart home features going on. So basically all your inputs are inputs, and if you have a device that can give a pulse, that is going to connect to Wi-Fi and is going to connect to Google Home, that is going to be a great way to circle around the problem that logo hasn't integration with Google Home, which is very unfortunate, because I think it is going to be the cheapest way to integrate anything of optimization in your home. It is going to be a logo, you can do everything with it. Now, unfortunately, they are still focusing only on the industrial part, but for people like me that know what they are doing, logo is a great choice. We have arrived at the place I use the least in the shop, which is going to be this side of the wall. We have a little bit of a, I'm not even sure what you call it in English. Then we also have a doorbell. In case anybody rings the door at front, I'm not going to hear it, so that way we will. This is going to be my personal project. It is something I'm working on for it's probably going to be almost 3 years. This is going to be the Mega Smoother. It is actually going to be rented out in 2 weeks, so I have a little bit of work to do. The people that are going to rent it want to have this control integrated so they can control it by time and not with the control that is going to be standard in this system, which is around 2 hours. With this, they want to fine-tune it, and maybe if they like it after a month, they are going to place an order, and this is going to be the most expensive thing I have ever built. Now, to be fair, there is quite a lot of print hours in it. Building it takes about a week, so yeah, that's why it is going to be very expensive. So this is going to be one of those show pieces are already made. This is made by Maker Viking. Maker Viking, if you are watching, hi dude, how are you doing? This is your little smoothed thingy right over here. As you can see, this is super big, but in comparison with the Mega Smoother, it is still relatively small in comparison with the build volume we have inside. So the biggest upside of this thing is going to be PVB smoothing. So you print it with BVB material, you put it in there, and it comes out nice and glossy, just like this. We are also doing a little video with a Belgian cosplayer. I think her name was Shapeshifter Realness or something like that. I will put her Instagram right over here. We are doing a little smoothing project. She already has all the stuff. It has all been smoothed and filmed. The next part is going to be me chasing her around with the camera on a convention, fully clothed with all the parts we have printed. It is going to be very hot, very attractive, and I think quite a lot of you are going to like the franchise she is cosplaying. Alright, so the Mega Smoother, it is going to get away that we have a table full of clearness, because there is no surface in this space that is going to be clean. Everything is going to be littered, and this is going to be the only table that has some sort of a room. Right over here we have a box. This is going to be the box from the Prusacor one. This is going to be used for all my paper and cardboard for recycling purposes. So we have a box for cardboard, we have a box for plastics, we have general trash, we have to do something with it. So yeah, we are just using the best box we have to throw all the cardboard in, so we can put it on the side and we get an empty box in place. Then moving along, oh yeah, this is maybe also a cool thing. We have printed this little thing, and this is going to house some of the general clamps we can use for this thing I don't know the name of. All right, let's look at the next thing. So right over here, this is going to be the paint-ish section / also doing something with electricity. I have no clue. We have Polymaker dryer boxes. These are hanging and chilling right over here. These are all high temp filaments. not like on the other side of the wall with the rack of boxes and boxes. Nope, this is going to be the poly dryer boxes. Then we have a little paint rack. I have 3D printed this rack, found this online. This is going to be general acrylic paint, the one that you use to paint your paintings with. We are going to use this thing right over here. We're going to put in a few drops. We are going to dilute it with some water or anything else, stir it on, and then we have something to paint with. It is called an airbrush. Yeah, it's an airbrush, which we are going to spray in the next part, which is going to be my paint booth. This right over here is still a mess. Right over here we have boxes with desiccant. We have removed the desiccant that has been sitting in the box right over there that is no longer there. So yeah, the desiccants are still sitting there. We have everything we need to solder. We have our soldering iron, we have our flux, then we have some soldering wire over here. We have our hair dryer to do all the drying that we do for our painting. I also recently 3D printed these triangles to put on some stuff when you are doing your painting. Then we also have a benchtop power supply. It goes all the way up to 60 volts and 5 amp. It is really working well, didn't cost a lot. It is doing real good. It is a Minleaf DC power supply. If you find one with another name, they all look the same. They are probably all the same. The only thing that is going to change is the naming, I think. So this is a great little power supply. They also have them at 48 volts, 24 volts, and even at 110 volts. Just make sure that you buy the correct one for your needs. So I'm going to use this for my prototyping. If I'm building something and I don't want to hook any power supply on it, or I don't have one, this is the one that I'm going to use. I am very annoyed about this thing right over here. This is very filthy. It is not organized. It is just sitting there because it is sitting there. The power supply, eventually I want to move it away from this place. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. The soldering iron, I'm going to leave it there because we have active ventilation going on. We are using soldering wire with lead in it. It is not healthy to breathe in, so this is going to be very healthy to have a sprayed booth with active air ventilation, so we don't have to breathe in all that crap. So the paint booth, you can see it is hooked up to the big fan we have seen right over my power box. It also has a little twist thingy right over here, so we can completely close it off if we want to pull all the air from the other side of the shop, which is 1.5 meters away. It all looks very big on this camera. Well, in reality, it ain't. So yeah, the paint booth, we can remove this. These are just general filters you can buy on the end wraps, so you will have to replace them often, unfortunately. This is a build we have done ourselves, so everything you see right over there is just DIY. This thing is sitting in this little box. This box is actually the chamber. This is going to be housing all the air volume that is going to pull out of, which we are going to reveal right over here. Da, 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 da. So this is what it looks from the inside. Like you can see, we have our different length tubes. We have the same going over here. So this box is going to be connected to the ventilation system. This is a solid piece of wood to close off the chamber. Right over here, the same. And then we have our electricity running right over there, because on top right over there, let me lift you up, is going to be a power supply. Not only that, we have the BTT rubber ducky. We have a little thing that we have smoothed. And my wife has bought this Atelier Rebul from Istanbul to get some nice smell in the shop. We have also a fire suppressant thingy going on, and then right over there is going to be my mechanical hands when I do my soldering. Right here on the side is going to be a little switch. This is going to turn on the LED for our painting purposes. So this is going to be hooked up to the extension line of my compressor, going to this airbrush, and we have to regulate it so we don't blow the seals in this thing. But generally this is going to be lying on the floor. But because we have now a floor cleaning solution, I'm just putting it right over here so the vacuum is not going to pull in cable and ruin it. We also have a makeshift turntable. We have some plastic sheeting. Also on this table is some plastic sheeting. Right there behind the barbecue coals are going to be a massive roll of that plastic. Like you can see, the plastic is running all the way up top, so we don't have to be worried about the wood that is behind the plastic. Then right over here in this corner, this is going to be a thinner. We have the most used primer I have. This is going to be surface primer from Vallejo. And then we also have our varnish. This is going to be a satin varnish. We have this little top right over here. This top is just going to be generally water to water down the paint that we are going to put in this cup. We have some paint brushes to stir around in this cup, and this is basically going to be the paint booth. The cool part about this little design right over here is all these tops are just sitting right here in the back. There is a lot of paint in this rack. The bigger tubes on the back, the smaller tubes are sitting right over here. So I really like this paint track. The only thing I wanted to do is to make it rotate. Now this is going to be very simple, put a lazy Susan under it, but right now it is what it is. So now you have seen my paint booth solution. I think it is doing well enough for the stuff that I'm doing. I am not doing a lot of painting anyway. This is just for if somebody asks me to print something and it needs to be in a special color or something like that, then we can do it in this paint booth. Like the project we did for Young Hee, the big hammer that we have given to them on the convention of Formnext has been painted in this paint booth. We have printed it with the resin of Young Hee, and then we have painted the whole thing and given to them as a big thank you for inviting us to the convention. By the way, I have a second one. I still have to paint it. Right over there, there is a second one that I built for myself. We designed it ourselves, so we need obviously one for ourselves. Now, I'm going to put back this little nasty draper. Oh yeah, and then right over here, I have some hooks that are going to be connected to this. This is just to hang something that I want to be hanging to spray paint my stuff. If I don't use it, I just put it over there. Now, the cool thing about using plywood and keeping it raw, like you can see, we have some dividers right over here. Plywood has kind of a rough finish. If you're going to cut it with any machine, it is going to have a rough texture, very easy to splinter. Now the cool thing is when we are going to press this filter material on it, it is just staying on there because of all the little splinters that are on the plywood. So the only thing holding in this little sheet are going to be the sides of the LEDs. So we have LEDs that are going to be holding in a little bit of this filter material, and then we have the plywood behind it grabbing on enough to keep it in place. So right now we have the fan running, we have still a closed port, and when I turn it up, you will see the filter material is getting pulled in, and it's going to be even more pulled in when I turn off my second channel. And now all the air of the complete shop is getting sucked in by this point. So all the air coming from the door or the seams of the door is going to get straight pulled in into this backdrop. It is going to be the most efficient. I don't think so. The lighting is from the back, which means that everything in front of me is going to be harder to see. We have some LEDs right over here to try and combat that, but really the best way is to get light from this way. So yeah, it is a little bit of a limited design, but it is very space efficient. I'm super happy for all the stuff that we are doing, and it is working more than enough. And the only thing I want is to prevent from all this crap that I'm painting around to get into the propeller system of the fan and get all gunked up. So I think for that purpose alone, this is more than enough. Now, enough about the paint booth. Time to look at our corner right over there. Then the thing next to the paint booth is going to be the stuff you see in every video, which is going to be my YouTuber background. We have made a video about this little cabinet. We made a complete corner housing all the shit that we do right now. We have a Prusa Core one sitting on top. Great interesting video. If you are wondering about what I think about the Prusa Core one, there is a video, you can watch it right over there. We also have the Algo Jupiter, which is in fact my only resin printer left. I sold off the rest. I couldn't be bothered with resin anymore. The videos did terrible, so I made the executive decision to cancel all my future resin projects. So I only kept the Algo Jupiter 6K because it is the printer that I like the most. It is big, it is going to be very reliable now with all the mods we have done. So if I do any resin in the future, this will be my go-to and only go-to so far. So yeah, no more resin videos for me in the future because I couldn't be bothered and you don't watch it anyway. Let's be honest. Then we have our Sovel SV08. It didn't get the love that it needed. Micro Swiss actually sent me a hot end system to put on there. The hot end system is very nice. The only thing I can say is sorry Micro Swiss for not making a video about it. But if you want to TLDR, it is lovely. It is miles better than the one that is going to be on the Sovel. You can replace the nozzles with something hardened, not huddled, CHT, everything you want. It is super affordable. It is going to be the best upgrade for the Sovel SV8. So, Micro Swiss, there's your review. Thank you very much. Then we obviously have our GD Plus 4, which is going to be the bread and butter of the channel because this video actually made this channel pop up a little bit more in the YouTube algorithm, I think. Then we still have the Q1 Pro right here in the back. And then at the other side of the rack is going to be the Century Carbon, which we did a video about last time. And we are also going to do a new video fixing the crap that Algo wouldn't. Then right over here, we also have some tops of Polymaker. We have the iBoss Polyphemus sitting right over there. Also didn't make a video about it because I could guess that that video would also not go anywhere. Sorry iBoss. I like it. It looks like the ventilation system in that is a little bit of a crapshoot. They have already sent me 2 more replacement thingies with the fan in it. Instead of just sending me the fan, they just completely shipped me the bottom panel. They are fully aware of the problem. For the rest, I like it. It rotates. It gets very hot and it gets in 1 or 2 degrees of their claimed temperatures. Yes, I did all the shooting and testing. I just didn't publish the video, but I think for the purpose, the iBoss is very good. We also have a VOC meter to see how unhealthy my shop is. Right now, it is saying that it is going to be 0.6 of whatever the fuck this means, which is going to give me an orange indication of it's not that great, but this is also not that bad. So this is going to be the setup that we have done, but the biggest feature I like the most is going to be sitting right over there. This is going to be it. So we have the same turn dial. Right here, we can do the same thing. We can open or close the ventilation going through the bottom. So here we have the ventilation flap. It is going to completely evacuate the air around the printers. So like you can see, we have active ventilation right here on the bottom. Why? We have a Jupiter sitting right over here. It is getting really stinky when you use it. I turn on that dial to get the ventilation. I turn on my ventilation and then everything is going to get sucked straight in through this, not bothering me with my breath, health, whatever the hell you want. So everything we print on the Jupiter, on the GD+4 that is really stinky is going to get evacuated with this ventilation system. We also have lights underneath. Those are a little bit weak. I wish they were a little bit brighter because this is looking like a very dark hole on the camera. It is not for me. I can see perfectly fine what is going on, but the dynamic range of this camera is not that good. So yeah, this is going to be the compromise we are living in right now. I also skipped on something I wanted to show you, which is going to be the ultrasonic thingamajig that we used on the Algo Jupiter way back in the days that we did resin videos. So I have made this, never made a video about it. This is going to be some oak stuff that we have repurposed from a build we have done inside. This is going to be my massive ultrasonic cleaner. It is completely cleaned out, so if I want to use it for anything else than resin printing, I just have to pour in some degreaser. We have our bottles to get all the junk water in there, and then it just slides away with these sliders that I have fastened to the pillars right over here. I just shrunk in those brass nuts that you have to compress in, some 3D printed parts, and then we have some 3-part sliders. So this is going to get all the way to the back. Yeah, I really like this system. So if I ever do some junk that needs to be cleaned, this is probably going to be the way that I'm going to do it. Now I don't have a lot of projects that are super gunky or filthy. So yeah, the ultrasonic cleaner is sitting there. So we just talked about this part where all the printers are. Time to talk about all of this. First of all, I have a little stool. It is from the same company my closets are, which is going to be HBM Machines. It is a Dutch company. They are probably just an import company. Not sure how you call it. They import all the crap from China, relabel it to HBM, and then call it a day. That being said, they still offer a lot of affordable goods. Back in the day, I was ordering these closets. These were pretty affordable. Now, thanks to all the economical things happening in the world, like COVID, the war, and all of that, the prices of this stuff has exploded. Container shipping prices were going through the roof. I have bought this whole corner for about 2,000 euros shipped to my door, and I have seen peaked it to over 3,000 euros for the same thing. So we have a solid wood finish right here on top. It is not multiply or anything like that. It is, however, fairly soft. I have done some hammering. We have some pitting right here on the surface, but I generally really like this complete corner. Everything that I need and I want to is getting housed in here. We have right over here a little garbage thingy. I never use it. It is full and it is still full from the first time I use it. And it is staying full because there's a little bucket in there for all the filth, but the hole is twice as big. I really don't get it, so I really need to make something custom to slide in this door. But yeah, that ain't happening because we now have our garbage right there on the front door. So the garbage disposal parts, then we have the most important part, which is going to be for our shop tile. And right here in the bottom are going to be the reserve spools of paper. So we have two sets of drawers and a door in the middle. First of all, the door in the middle is going to house some of the power tools I use the most. Like this right over here is going to be my Dremel. We have some other stuff right over here. The main part is going to be this right over here, which is the Revo point. This is going to be my scanner that I do for all the scanning purposes. We have some spare stuff for the Dremel. We have some other general tools. This is also a really cool part. This is going to be those brass nuts that you have to crimp in a hole to get some threaded stuff in there. So yeah, this is just a little bit of a junk corner. But this right over here is going to be the part that I'm the most proud of, which is going to be everything that is inserted into these drawers. So these are going to be the box system that you have seen me printing on the Prusa VFA type of deal. These are the boxes that we have printed. Now, not this box exactly, but boxes like this. This is something you can find the files on for printables. So these boxes have been inspired by Alexander Chappelle, I guess his name is. This is another YouTuber. He made boxes that looked a little bit like that. Only these are way more simplified. There is nothing right here on the side to grab on. So these boxes are doing that thing. You can just pull them out very easily. Just open your fingers a little bit like that, and then you can just pull out whatever is in there. Right over here are going to be all my electronics components. You can see some fans right over here. We have a motor. We have some balls for ball bearings, We have right over here some diodes. We have some general electronics. This is a DC to DC converter. We have some other converters right over here. We have a little power supply that I used to use for something that is not being used anymore. Some little electronics PCB boards. Then we also have the most important tool, which is going to be the deburring tool I use for all my 3D prints. We also right over here have our hooks and things to dig around in the corners. Then in the next drawer, this is all going to be for cable, wires and crimping. So these are going to be our straight connectors or wagos. Then we have all these cable shoes that you can clamp on bare wire. Clamping wire for the meters. This is one of the meters. I have two of them. I started investing in wagos because you keep giving me crap. I use wagos instead of connectors. So there you go. I have them right over here. Then we have tape, isolation stuff. We have some fuses going on. And then in the next drawer is going to be all our cables. This is the smoke detector I talked about. We are not using it anymore. Trashed USB cables that we are using for projects. Sometimes we have to plug something into USB and we have to power it without the connector. So those are going to be junk wires I'm reusing. Right over here, precision scale for all our calibrations. The K-Touch, used it once, don't see the point of it. Our straining material for the resins. This right over here is the Prusa Core 1 calibration stuff. We have one of the controls that we used in the old chamber. Yeah, some Prusa stuff. This is going to be the old Sovel SV08 hot end thingy that we now replaced with the one from Microswiss. The 3D printing handbook, some general printing crap. We have the Sunlu filament joiner. I actually use this stuff sometimes, so super handy. Now the next one is also going to be a 3D printing drawer. We have the belts that finally arrived for the Prusa Core 1, a little bit too late, but yeah. We have them right over here, some general crap stuff from the printers. This is going to be the guide blocks from the Rhetoric. This is going to be the little extras that we got from the Prusa Core 1. This is something I actually started designing for somebody. Somebody said from, hey, I want this, maybe I'm going to sell this. This is to put on a brake caliper. So you slide it over here, it rests on there, and then the brake caliper is inserted in one of the bolt holes and it is just sitting on there. So this is probably a thing I'm probably going to be selling really soon when I start my print farm. We have some sheets from the Prusa Core 1 for testing. And then right over here is all the crap I still have to sort out. This box is all the spare crap that we have from the Rhetoric. So this is all going to be Rhetoric accessories. LEDs. These ones we are actually going to use for the Algo Centauri carbon to put some lights in. So really happy with the drawers. Then right over here we have all our general tools. We have all our screwdrivers. We have our wrenches. We have every little bits and bob that we need right over there. We have Miley sitting in the corner. We did for all the impact testing. I might do it again, but for filament this time, so I'm not throwing it away just yet. This is going to be our next video. This is the prototype I'm doing for the Rhetoric. So the Rhetoric is going to get a lot of upgrades. I'm really excited about this. We are going to water cool stuff. We have the Goliath water cooled hot end. We also have an Octava fan with a radiator, which is going to be completely replacing the back housing of the Rhetoric. Then this right over here is going to house that thing, which is going to be the reservoir. And this is going to be your next video. Right here on top, right over here are my general oils and loops. This is going to be for my bike. This is a repair kit for the bike. Same thing is true for this. This is probably the closet I use the most. Here are all my cleaning products. We have some greases and oils, but we have a lot more variants of oils and greases that we are using. We have our silicones, WD-40, contact sprays. We have thinners, acetone, everything that is a little bit more aggressive than regular oils are going to be sitting right over there. We also have something new, which is this. This is some towel, paper towel that you can pull out, which already has a degreaser or hand cleaner on it. So this is good for very nasty stuff. Right over here, the most stinky closet of them all is going to be completely filled with resins. This is going to be completely filled with all the resins we have done for testing the resin testing gauntlet and is now sitting right here to die. This is going to be the glue jar. We have our wood glues, we have Loctites, and then this is going to be ABS putty that I made in a jar. We have some epoxy super glues right over there. So this is all the glue stuff. Then we have the last cupboard. This is going to get me demonetized so hard, so quickly. So I removed the part that is going to get me demonetized because this is going to be my gun compartment. We have our red dot, we have our cleaning supplies. This is a box of ammo, 9mm, because that is the pistol I have. So let's leave it at that. Then also on top of the HBM, we can see everything that we have printed. These are going to be all the things we have done on the resin testing gauntlet. All the little figurines are sitting right over there with some extra bonuses. Like this is going to be one of the prototypes for the Chini Plus 4, the heater that we have right over there sitting, the prop we did on the Q1 Pro, a completely ABS printed Fallout gun. We have our hammer that we gave to Zhang He. This is going to be my DIY battery bank, the most dangerous battery bank in the world, but that bank could also charge my laptop if I didn't forget to put some switches on it. We have a little Pokeball we printed on resin, the infamous microphone we used on the first convention of Next, the little beer I had from Prusa, the bouncing ball, we made a video about that, and then we have done some smoothing parts. And especially this one is looking really cool. Obviously, we also have drawers over here. The same boxes, only filled with bolts and nuts. The same is going to be true for this one. The same is going to be true for this one, but these are all screws. And then right over here, we have some random bits and bobs. Not sure what I'm going to do with that right now. Now this one is going to be a little bit more interesting. We have all the stuff for milling, drilling, chamfering, all sitting right over here. So this is all going to be for my DeWalt materials. We have taps and drills all sitting right over here. We have some wood and metal drills. We have our heated inserts included with these tips. These tips are going to be fitting and this little soldering iron I bought just for the heated inserts. So that is living right over there. These things, these are going to get into wood to put in a bolt. So this is going to be a way better mechanical bond between wheels, casters, or whatever you want to call it, and a wooden table, which we are going to talk about next. An empty drawer doesn't happen a lot. Lights, random crap. And this is everything I use for my woodworking. We have a nail gun. We have all sorts of nails. We have some propane tubes. So everything that, is just general crap I don't know where to put. Well, there it is. So this is the part that you guys see the most on YouTube, the YouTube studio. It is not really a studio. We use it more for doing crap you don't see on the camera. And this time it is actually pretty clean. I'm pretty happy. It is only going to take me 1 hour because after this video, we are going to trash the whole place because we are going to do some mods on the Algo CC. Now, standing on something. This is going to be my height adjustable table. This is one of the first woodworking projects I have done on the NoisyWorks YouTube channel, and I'm still super proud of this table. It has been super solid. It is height adjustable. Let me demonstrate it. I have sit on it about 100 kilos. I'm weighing more because I'm working out, so I'm not going to try it again, but this is so wonderful. This is probably still the best damn thing I have ever built in this shop. This height adjustable table is doubling as a height adjustable table, and for the resin testing gauntlet, all the measuring devices to pull stuff apart is going to be down here. Let's take a quick look and recap what we have done. So those brass inserts I told you about, you see that wheel? Yeah, it is ready to pop off, so we still have to replace that one because, yeah, we are now dealing with a very loose caster. And here we have it. This is the table. This is the power meter that we use to pull stuff apart. This is going to be the wood, the clamp that we have put in all the stuff to pull apart. So the power meter is still attached to the table. It is not in the way when I lower or heighten it. We are still using this system with the batteries. It is working great. I only killed one battery for about 4 times, but it's always recovered. So right now, if I do this, the table is dropping. It is still working pretty good. We have 2 electrical linear pistons, one on each side. So right over there we have the second one. Then when we are raising it, it is just pushing on that block. And we have linear rails right here on the side, keeping the table together. So you can see the linear rail, it is right here in this groove. I really love this table. So this table, if you want to know how I build it and you want some inspiration, the video will be right up there. It is really cool to build it. It is actually pretty easy. It doesn't cost you a lot of money and it is super useful for unboxing reasons, sanding, name it. This is super handy. Just being able to lower or heighten it for half a meter. Yeah, this is just great. And then right over here, this is going to be where I do all my woodworking. Most of the time, this table is going against the back and I'm going to height adjust it so it's sitting at the same height as this table. So when I put some wood through the table, it is just going to lay on this table. So I've basically made an extension of this one. I roll it in the back, then I can pull this one from the side, just like that. I put on the brakes and now I have all the room in the world. We heighten the table like that. Et voila! We now have a nice extension part. And if we have any kind of wood, we can now shorten it. We can push it through on this table and I can even rotate it. Now I have a really neat spot to cut some high length wood, which we are going to do, by the way. I'm not going to film it because filming it takes about double the time of what we are actually building. So imagine me cutting a bunch of wood, doing stuff with it. This is going to be the most common way I'm going to do everything. It is not just a table. We have actually some nice features packed in here to help me with dust extraction and all that shit, because if we don't use dust extraction, then the whole shop will be filled with wood, which it actually still does, but way less than we have done before. So the first thing I will do is open all the vents. Put the ventilation at full whack. That's why I'm always with my headphones on. These are noise cancelling. Back in the day, I used these ones. These are actually the ones I use for my range shooting. So these are my range shooting headphones. Right now, I'm just putting on noise cancellation so I can listen to music when I am shooting. And now with these ones, I have music. I'm working in that silence. And that is just the way I really like it. So if you see me in the video wearing these ones, it's because it gets really loud or I just want to hear the music and not the crap that we are doing. Let's look at the features of this table. First of all, this one is completely built custom, which means I build it. It's a little bit crooked, but it does the job really well. If you're wondering why this is sitting here, this is to shave my head before every video, so I look nice and sweet for you guys. We have the wall table saw. It is a little bit higher than the rest of the table, which actually bite me in the ass more than I wanted to give it. Because right now, if you want to cut a piece of wood on this part and you want to slide it through, we now have a raised bump. So we can or remove this table, which I never done, or I lay it on top and just press it real good before I do the cut motion like this. Like you can see, once we press the thing, we are going to see a light. So this is permanently powered. And when we are going to trigger it, the shop vac, because there is a shop vac in there, the shop vac is automatically going to turn on and going to try and suck all the dust out of it. So right here in the back, there is a port. So this is going to be the hose. We hook it up right here in the back. And then lots of noise, but I hope you could hear that the shop vac is also going to be triggered, because on the complete underside of this table is going to be some sort of a extraction wood kind of a thing. I'm going to show you. So right over there we have a Makita shop vac. It is going to be powered. This is all PVC plumbing. It is going to a little collector. We have a cyclone right over here, so all the big dirt, crap, dust is going to fall in this bucket. It works really well. I only had to replace the filter once and I'm using it for years now. So any kind of a cyclone is going to be a great choice for mine. We have bypasses on everything. This complete system always has a bypass. So we have the main valve right over here. This is going to be for the extraction port that is sitting right over here. But like you can see right over here, this is going to be the bypass. So we always have a bypass for every valve that we installed into the system. The same is going to be true for this one. We have a valve, but we also have a bypass in the back. This valve is going to be powering the hose that we have hooked up to this sawing thing. And then this is going to be the last one. This is going to be for my table saw right here in the back. We also have two sanding devices. I don't use them a lot, but when I use them, these are super handy. Generally, I take that one, I put it on top, and I hook it up to my dust extraction using the hose right over there. So there's a port right over there, there's a port right over there, but I don't use them. I just use the extension line and I hook them up to this one or my orbital sander. And that brings me to this part of the HBM one. These are going to be all my DeWalt tools that I'm going to use the most. My router is going to be sitting right over there with all its accessories. General fasting bits and bobs. Then we have one main power source to charge our batteries, our sanding pads, and right over here is my orbital sander. So if I ever have a sanding project, I take my battery, I put it on my DeWalt tool, and to make sure I'm not making a mess of my complete shop, I pull off this one. This one actually fits pretty well on the DeWalt exhaust port. And just like that, I have my sanding device with an extraction unit. The only thing is, this is not going to trigger the shop vac because there is no wire hooked up to the shop vac. So we have a little switch right over here. We can turn it on. And all the airflow is now going. I think you get the point. Now you know why I use my noise cancelling headphones. It is making an absolute racket. It works pretty well, but it makes an absolute racket. Right over here we have all the clamping going on. You can also see the sandpaper from my drum sander. We have all our measuring, beating, straight edges. We have our zip ties. We have our dowels, files. We also have our router with all its bits and bobs. And we obviously also have everything we need to cut off a little piece of wood. So to give you a bit an example of how big the shop is, right now I can just barely touch the emergency stop to power off everything. And when I set a few steps back, right now I'm in the middle of the workshop. And if I set a few steps back, this is going to be my 7th step. I am in the shop, in the set that I mostly stand to do all my video materials. The camera has a wide angle lens, it looks massive, but in reality it is not that huge. I'm not complaining, it is doing its job perfectly fine. I'm really happy I am even able to do something like this in my garden, and I just pushed the button. So there is also a touch button right over there, with all the same buttons that are on a touch panel like that. So I can also turn on or off the lighting from here in the set, because most of the times I'm just walking in without lighting, with only the backlight to grab some stuff right over here. Because if I turn off the light, there is still more than light enough to do what I need to do right here in this corner. The only thing is the camera is going to make it really dark. From here to the camera is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 meters between the camera and the end of the shop. So yeah, let's call this shop 8 meters at about. Just for fun and giggles, I actually have never done it. I'm going to measure how wide my shop is. 360 centimeters, 3 meters, 60 by 8 meters is going to be the internal volume of the shop. Like I said, the walls are super thick. It is still good enough for what I do, but yeah, I would like to dabble into CNC machines in the future. Maybe if I get rid of this mega smoother, I have nice space to put on a CNC machine. But right now we are out of space for a CNC machine. Maybe if the red trick is going to get where I told you, next to my power box, we can reuse that space for a CNC machine. Maybe. But yeah, that is going to be it. This was my tour of the makerspace. This probably took way longer than I could imagine. I think I have filled right now over an hour. So I'm really wondering how much of that is going to stay in the video. So alright, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. For the people that really wanted me to show the shop, here you go. Thank you for the beer money. I'm going to get a nice cold beer after this because I'm very thirsty from all the yapping I have done the last hour and a half. So yeah, this was the Noisy Works HQ studio, shop, YouTube studio, whatever you want to call it. That's gonna be it. If you have more questions for me, leave them down below. If you want to see other stuff in detail, leave them down below. And guys, I see you in the next one.